Talk Health Live. I'm Dr. Amanda, I'm a naturopathic doctor, and tonight we are having our live Q&A where you guys ask me any questions, you drop them in the chat, and then I answer them for you. So if you're new here, welcome to our live health Q&A. I will be talking a little bit about a specific topic tonight, just something I usually pick to talk about, but feel free to drop any other questions you might have in the chat box and I will answer them for you. Okay, so let's talk about, why don't we talk a little bit about, we talked about constipation, so I'm gonna actually say let's talk about diarrhea, which is always a fun topic to talk about. So we're gonna be talking about diarrhea today. So you guys can let me know if that's something you experience, if it's a concern that you have. And then, of course, if it's not applicable to you, just ask me any other questions that you might have in the chat. Okay, so what can be some causes of diarrhea? And like when I'm talking about diarrhea, what we mean is like loose or mushy or watery poop. So can basically anything that's not formed, that's what we would be talking about. Okay, so what can be causing this? There can be a variety of different causes, but one main cause could be food poisoning. So if you ate something that upset your stomach, if you ate something that potentially was contaminated, had some bacteria on it, or wasn't thoroughly cooked, or wasn't washed properly. You can even get food poisoning from vegetables and stuff that aren't properly washed. So food poisoning could definitely cause diarrhea or loose stools. And then usually it would maybe be a little bit green as well. So I'll just make a note for that it could be green. What else can potentially cause this? Well, it could be due to something called IBD, which is like Crohn's or colitis. Crohn's or colitis disease. So if you have diarrhea, that's more like loose. Sometimes you might have it might even be bloody. That, and then if you're having other concerns as well, that could potentially be due to IBD. So what it would be like if you also felt a lot of fatigue and you just generally felt unwell, definitely would be a cause of diarrhea there. Okay, so if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. This is Let's Talk Health. It's our live health Q&A. Tonight I'm talking about diarrhea. But yeah, feel free to ask me any other questions in the chat and I will answer them for you. I just see some questions coming in, so I'm just gonna mention a couple other things and then I will get to those questions. So thank you for asking them. And of course, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and like our video tonight and join our community and turn on notifications too. Okay, what else can it? Well, it could be due to something called IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. So IBD is inflammatory bowel disease. That's when there's a lot of inflammation going on in the tract. But in IBS, it's not an inflammatory type condition. It's a syndrome where there is abdominal pain, change in bowel habits. In this case, it would be diarrhea and loose stool. So IBS can definitely cause that. You could have multiple bowel movements a day. You could have gas and bloating in addition to the diarrhea as well. So yeah, so that's kind of three things that would cause it. I can talk a little bit more, but why don't we just hop into the chat and we can see what's going on. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we're talking about diarrhea. There was a question, is diarrhea watery? Yeah, so it could be loose, it could be mushy, or it could be watery. Watery would be like the most severe. If you have like complete liquid stools, that's pretty severe diarrhea. Usually something is going on, potentially food poisoning, but yeah, it could be a change of either like a loose or a mushy stool, something that's just not formed. Okay, there was a question, what about GERD? So for anybody that's not familiar, GERD is gastroesophageal reflux disease. So it's basically like heartburn, acid reflux. So, okay, so great question about GERD. Did you have a specific question about that? Let me know, and then I can answer that for you. But yeah, definitely GERD can happen. Not correlated with diarrhea per se, but yeah, you could have both potentially, but let me know if you had a specific question about the GERD. Okay, so if anybody's just joining us and jumping on, this is Let's Talk Health Live. I'm Dr. Amanda, naturopathic doctor, here to answer any questions that you might have. We are talking a little bit about diarrhea, but there's also other great questions coming in the chat, so ask me anything as well. Okay, there was a comment, talk about constipation. I did do a live stream on constipation not too long ago. I think it was just a few days ago. So you might want to go check that one out. If you have a specific question about constipation, I can answer that for you. And I also do have a lot of videos on my channel that about constipation. So if you are new here, if anybody else is new here, be sure to subscribe and join the health community here. That way you do get notified when I go live, and that way you don't miss our live streams. Okay, what else? Which is better for you after diarrhea, water or electrolytes, and why? So I would say both are quite important, and I would even say like during that diarrhea, if you are having active diarrhea, you want to make sure that you are hydrating. So water is great. Coconut water is also a great source of getting some electrolytes in. And then adding in electrolytes too, because when you have diarrhea, you're going to be eliminating a lot of your nutrients and your minerals and your water. So you're going to be dehydrated. So adding both water with some electrolytes would give you that benefit. Another really good thing would be a bone broth, like or even just like a chicken broth. You're going to get lots of minerals in that way as well. So anything really hydrating would be good. Okay. What else? Why is some green and some brown? Okay, so in terms of stools, so that's a great question. So I do also have a short on this that like goes through all the different colors. So you can always check that one out. But in terms of brown, so brown poop would be considered like the normal color. You want it from a light brown, medium brown, dark brown, pretty much any sort of brown is considered your normal. Now, if it's green, like I said, if there's food poisoning, it could be due to a couple of things. Usually green means it's going through you too quickly, and that will happen in the case of something like food poisoning. So what happens is our bile gives our stool a certain color, and if it moves too quickly through you, then it can turn green. Could also be due to something you ate. So whether that be vegetables, whether it be something else that has a green color to it, I would say those would be the main things that can cause green poop. Okay. So great questions, everyone. If anybody's just joining us, you're just tuning in, hi, welcome to Let's Talk Health. I'm Dr. Amanda. This is our live health stream. We are talking about diarrhea tonight, but feel free to ask any questions. Be sure to like this video. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing and joining our health community here. I'm just here to really, help you out and answer your questions. Okay. All right. Oh, there was a question, sorry. Okay, so I started to burp a lot lately, and I never burped before. I also have my stomach feeling really hard and bloated. Okay, so this could be due to a couple of things. A lot of times when we're burping, that's kind of indicating maybe something with digestion going on. It could even be you don't have enough stomach acid and digestive enzymes to properly break down your food, and then you're left like burping a little bit extra. Especially you telling me that you're bloated, that could be poor digestion going on. Now, if it started lately, more recently, I would also assess, like, did anything in your diet change? Did you start a new medication? Are you more stressed out? Because those things can also impact digestion. We don't always think about all these other things that can impact our health. So I would say number one, looking at what what your lifestyle's been like recently. Did anything change? And then number two would be looking at supporting digestion a little bit more. So that could be done through digestive bitters or digestive enzymes to help out with that. But yeah, great question. Thank you for your questions, and thank you everybody else for for joining too. Okay. Question, why do you get diarrhea after drinking alcohol? I'm glad there's lots of questions about diarrhea. I just kind of picked this one tonight, so I'm glad you guys are asking questions. Appreciate that. So usually the thing with alcohol is it can disrupt your microbiome a little bit, and that can then lead to some diarrhea. It also can just cause mild inflammation. And whenever there's like an inflammation or something off in the stomach and the gut, then your body just kind of wants to get rid of it. Especially after how much alcohol you're drinking. If you're drinking quite a bit of alcohol, then your body's going to be like moving that through you more quickly, and it can be causing some disruption there. So definitely for all those reasons is why you can get diarrhea after alcohol. Some people are more sensitive than others, so some people might be able to drink and not get any diarrhea, whereas others might get it even with just having a little bit. So it could also depend on your sensitivity to it. Okay, so everybody that's just joining us, hi and welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm here to answer any health questions that you have. This is our Let's Talk Health live stream. You guys ask me your questions, you put them in the chat. I talk a little bit about health topics and answer your questions. So if you are new here, be sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, join our community, and thank you so much, and like this video because I do appreciate that. Okay. What else? Or eat fiber. I'm thinking we're talking about diarrhea, so fiber can help, but actually sometimes too much fiber, people can get diarrhea from it. So you have to find a balance. Saccharomyces boulardii is good for diarrhea. Yes, thank you for that. Saccharomyces boulardii is really good for diarrhea, specifically food poisoning, antibiotics. If you're on antibiotics, really good for that. So thanks guys for the tips. I always love when you guys share things too, because it does also help other people learn other things too. Thanks for the answer. You're welcome. Okay, question, can I drop dead out of nowhere? Is always symptoms overlooked or not a catastrophic medical event? So that's honestly really hard to say. Usually there are symptoms, but sometimes not always, or sometimes you might not even notice symptoms. So that's why it's always good to just do regular routine checkups, to check on your blood pressure, to check on your heart health, to check on your blood sugar, liver, metabolic, all of these things, just to see how you are doing, to make sure that everything is working okay. So in that case, I would say it's always great to do yearly or even every 6 months, doing checkups, doing blood work, and yeah, seeing how you're doing. So asking about somebody that has bloating and gassy stomach, can they use oregano oil? If you're saying bloating and gassy, to me, my first instinct wouldn't be oregano oil. Oregano oil is quite strong. It can actually cause an imbalance in your microbiome, and I usually recommend doing oregano oil if we know there's a bacterial or a yeast overgrowth or something going on. Oil of oregano can be really helpful for that. So if we're thinking more bloating and gassy, I would say more so working on digestion, using herbs like chamomile and fennel over something like oregano. Okay. What else? Somebody got really bad diarrhea today and it was neon green and it was explosive. That sounds pretty intense. So, you know, neon green is, maybe you ate something that had like green food coloring or something in there that really caused you to have an upset stomach. So make sure you're staying hydrated, drink your water, especially if you had really bad diarrhea. Okay, so I see some people are just dropping in. So hi everyone, welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda, naturopathic doctor here. This is Let's Talk Health, our live health Q&A live stream. So feel free to drop any questions in the chat, and also, of course, like, subscribe, join our community. I do appreciate all of your questions, and I'm happy to answer anything for you guys. Okay. Does a colonoscopy give a good view on the GI system or just the colon? Such a great question. So it really is mostly the colon, like the large intestine. Sometimes they can get a little bit more, but usually it's just the large colon. You'd want to do, if you want more view on the GI system, then you want to do the endoscopy, which is where the flexible tube is put down your mouth through your esophagus and into your stomach. And then you get to see a little bit of the small intestine as well. So that would view the stomach. So it could see if there's H. pylori, they could do a biopsy and see if there's H. pylori. You can check for celiac disease. You can check for inflammation in the stomach, ulcers. What else? Of course, cancer can be seen that way. And then in the small intestine, you're able to see stuff as well. So really great question. Thank you for that one. I would say then, if you wanted to view the whole GI, yeah, doing both the endoscopy and the colonoscopy. Okay, somebody needs to take it easy on the Taco Bell. Okay. Maybe that's why you got the green diarrhea. Did I skip your question? Please write your question again. Sometimes I don't see them if a bunch of them come in. So if I did skip your question, just let me know. Write it again. Okay, so how do you know if it's a diarrhea issue or something more serious like IBS? Okay, so I'm guessing you're saying like just diarrhea or more with IBS. Like I would say if you just had diarrhea randomly, like maybe you're getting it once a week or even less than that, that might just be an off occasion where you got some diarrhea, potentially something you ate that day that upset your stomach, potentially it was food poisoning. Whereas IBS is something that it's more chronic and long-term, and you're gonna have that every day pretty much, and you're gonna have other symptoms like I had mentioned, some abdominal pain, bloating, maybe there's gas, maybe a lot of stress and anxiety with it as well. That in addition to having the looser stools, the diarrhea, then that would be something more like looking at IBS. What else? Just also having like food intolerance is a common thing to have with IBS as well. So that's what I would say in terms of that. Whereas like just diarrhea would be just maybe a one-off occasion. Generally your stools should be regular, where you're going, you know, once a day, twice a day, they're formed, they're easy to pass, and no blood, no issues with that. Okay, question, what do you think about drinking hydrated chia seeds for general health and digestion? Yeah, so chia seeds are really high in fiber. So a lot of times what you can do, yeah, you can mix them with water and then drink them. It just helps with improving your bowel movements and keeping things regular. But I would say with that, because they're so high in fiber, you want to be careful with how much you have, because again, like even though fiber is great for digestive health, it could actually cause more bloating or more gas, or even slow your digestion down a little bit if your body's not used to that influx of fiber. So what I would say is like start with a really small amount, and you can have them. Now you don't have to specifically have them hydrated. I like eating chia seeds on top of yogurt or in like a smoothie or something like that too. But great question. Okay. So hi everybody, and if anybody's just joining us, welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. This is Let's Talk Health. I'm showing this diarrhea diagram here, but we've had some really good questions, so I haven't written anything down for a while. So if you are new here, be sure to subscribe, ask me your questions in the health chat, and I will answer them for you. Okay, what's next? Okay, thank you for answering. You're so welcome. Be sure to join us next time. So subscribe and turn on your notifications and join our community. Why won't my skin clear up? I'm using hydrocortisone cream 2% at least twice a day. So usually hydrocortisone is used something for like a rash, eczema, psoriasis. Interesting. Okay, so well, then there could be something else underlying going on. And really when we're looking at hydrocortisone cream, it's more so like a Band-Aid solution that's just gonna help with reducing irritation or inflammation. But there could be something else going on that could be contributing to it. So some things I would think of would be like a gut health issue. So gut health definitely has a huge role in your overall skin health. I talked about this on live stream, I think it was last night when we were talking about acne. So that's one thing to look into. It could be an allergy or an intolerance that's potentially causing your skin issue, and that's why it's not clearing up. So any of that, I would just say looking into that and considering all of that. But yeah, let me see if there was a second part to that question maybe I missed. I would say then, like, if it's not working, then usually hydrocortisone will help with redness and irritation. So if it's not working, then you maybe got the wrong treatment. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it's like a fungal or a bacterial infection where hydrocortisone wouldn't work for that. But all right, we got some people saying hi. So hi everybody and welcome. Question about BPA and plastics concerning. Yeah, so there's BPA, but then there's also like other types of BPA, or like the BPs. And basically that in plastics, like I would say if you are having a lot of exposure to that, then that could long-term be concerning. It's really hard to avoid all of these things that we hear about, like, avoiding fragrances, avoiding things in plastics, avoiding seed oils. It can get really overwhelming. So I always say, like, just start with a more slow, gentle approach. If you're using a lot of plastics, then maybe that's something to reassess. I would say, like, don't heat up plastics in the microwave. So that's an easy way to then just avoid using plastics, because when they heat up, then you're getting more exposure to those toxins. But okay. Or what else? Is diarrhea a good thing for the body or not? No, I wouldn't say it's a good thing. It's generally telling us something's going on. So I kind of mentioned with a bowel movement, you want to go anywhere between 1 to 3 times a day is considered a normal one, but you want that bowel movement to be formed. So you don't want it to be like really mushy or watery, but then you also don't want it to be like really hard separated pieces. Like a general 1-2 good piece that's formed, easy for you to pass. You shouldn't have urgency where you're running to the restroom and you feel like you have to really go. That would be considered like a good normal bowel movement. But yeah, great question. Drink almost a gallon of water a day. All right. Best fast food for a dirty bulk. I need to gain weight. My girlfriend keeps making fun of me. So, I would say more so just if you need to gain weight, you're gonna just wanna focus more on calories. So things that are gonna be higher in calories and give you more calories. You don't necessarily have to do fast food, but of course, like usually fast food will. You wanna just be careful with like doing things like milkshakes and that kind of stuff, because that has a lot of sugar. Even though it has high in calories, that has a lot of sugar. So I would say doing something like making your own smoothie at home where you can bulk it up in terms of putting in like a weight gainer protein powder. You could then add in healthy fats. Fats are good because they're higher in calories. So adding in some like peanut butter, almond butter in there, adding in berries, milk, using milk, that kind of stuff, just to bulk that up. And then the other things like nuts are really good too, because they are good fats and healthy that way. So in terms of fast food, I would say just being cautious with that and how much you're having. Okay, what are the best foods, drinks to increase and maintain high testosterone? Yeah, so in terms of foods and drinks, I would say more so looking at things that are higher, like that can have zinc in them. So zinc is great for supporting testosterone balance. So things like pumpkin seeds, oysters, those are pretty high in zinc. Those would be good ones to get in. In terms of drinks, like teas would be really good. In terms of green tea would be a good one. Nettle is also really good for testosterone balance. Maca root can be helpful as well. So those what I would say would be my top ones. And then also thinking about high protein, high fat versus things that are carbohydrate and sugary. Whenever we think of sugar, it's gonna store as fat, and fat in the body, more fat, you can actually create more estrogen, whereas more lean is better for testosterone. So hopefully that was helpful. All right, if anybody just joined us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor here. This is Let's Talk Health Live. You guys ask me your health questions and I will answer them for you. If I don't get to it tonight, don't worry, I will be back tomorrow and you can ask me your questions then. And of course, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, join our health community. Thank you so much for the likes. I just saw you got some likes coming in, so thank you guys for that. Raw honey and eggs for testosterone. There are helpful stool charts if you need to know your stool. Yes, there is, and I have a video all about this. It's my most popular video on TikTok. It's TikTok. Yes, TikTok and YouTube. It's a short video. So if you go to my page and then you just filter under shorts and then by most popular, I think it's almost at 2 million views, that one. So you guys can check that out. It's called the Bristol stool chart and it talks all about your poop. So red meat, yeah, red meat is good because it's high in protein, so yeah. Do you think, okay, so we have more of a question about what my thoughts are on giving everybody access to Ozempic to drop the obesity rate in America. A good idea. So no, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't agree with that for a couple of reasons. One, it could take away the access to like the people that actually need it for diabetes. Now, if you're saying like giving everybody access to it, I don't think there would be enough supply for everybody that would want it for weight loss, right? So we want to make sure that it's still available for those who actually need it for their health conditions. Diabetes, PCOS, they can really benefit from that. And then the other thing is we want to just be careful with remembering there's always side effects to medications. And something like Ozempic, yes, it can help with the weight loss, but then what's happening long term? Are these people just going on it to just lose some weight? And then if they come off of it and they haven't made any diet or lifestyle changes, they're just going to gain the weight back. So I think on an ideal world, it would be great if we could work and help people with losing weight with like diet and exercise. I think it would be good if we could ban fast food and sugar and all that stuff rather than like giving them the medicine to treat it. Why don't we figure out what the root cause is first? So thanks for the question. I'd love to know your opinion on that too. Anybody in the chat, let me know what you guys think about something like that. But yeah, okay. Your reminder to drink some water. Thank you. Yeah, everybody needs water. Make a milkshake with Ensure. I ate 3 Crumble cookies today. Oh man, Crumble has some pretty good cookies. Hopefully you you're doing okay, because those are quite high in sugar. I don't know what that question was. Try Wendy's large triple. Best food for ulcerative colitis. Such a great question. So if anybody has ulcerative colitis, if you're not familiar with ulcerative colitis, it is IBD, an inflammatory bowel disease. So basically there's a lot of inflammation going on in the colon, and it can cause pain, it can cause fatigue, it can cause bleeding in the stools. So what are some good foods for that? So if you're having like a current flare of ulcerative colitis, like if you're in an active flare, some things I like recommending are things that are just really easy to digest and not too spicy, not too high in protein or fats. Honestly, something that's more usually carbohydrate. Things like applesauce is a really good one. Chicken soup is another really good one. Coconut yogurt, if you've never tried coconut yogurt, it can be better for if you're having ulcerative colitis, because sometimes dairy can be a bit irritating, so coconut yogurt's a great option. What else? You could do fish, like a white fish. It's light, it's not as fatty as something like salmon. I would say things like beef and pork, you'd want to avoid those ones. And of course, this might just be like during a flare, but even after, it's those can be harder to digest. So what else? Fruits are good. Fruits are okay, so you could do some fruits. If you're having vegetables and you're having ulcerative colitis, I would say making sure your vegetables are cooked, things that are cooked and easy to digest. But hopefully that was helpful. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I crave and I eat fermented foods all the time, but I'm always gassy regardless of what I eat. What do I do? Okay, so if we're talking about always gassy, I would ask you, are you also bloated? Do you have any other symptoms going on? You potentially could have a bacterial imbalance. So you could either have not enough of your good bacteria, or you could have maybe an overgrowth of another bacteria, or a yeast as well can cause things like gassy. So in that case, doing something like a comprehensive stool test would be a good option. You might be eating maybe too many raw foods, things like salads and raw veggies, potentially, or you might just need some digestive support, like digestive enzymes. Maybe the fermented foods might be too much as well. That could be something. So I know that was a handful thrown at you. So that would be my thoughts in regards to that. Okay. If anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and this is Let's Talk Health Live, where you guys ask me your health questions and then I answer them for you. And of course, if you've just if you've just joined us, if you're not like familiar with the channel, be sure to subscribe. I do appreciate it. Join our health community, like this video, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. Okay. Okay, so why do we not deworm regularly like animals do, knowing we can carry parasites? Is it just less common to see pertaining to diarrhea and gut health? Yeah, so, the body is pretty good at knowing how to do things and clean things out. And if we were just to do regular parasite cleanses, it could potentially cause more harm than good. It could be causing an imbalance. And a lot of these herbs, even if they're natural herbs, they can still sometimes cause an issue. And we don't want to disrupt the good gut bacteria. So unless specifically you found a parasite on a stool test, I personally don't recommend doing regular parasite cleanses is what they call them. But if you are having diarrhea and gut health issues, you could have a parasite. So just testing for that and seeing if you have one. Okay, any tips on being vegan? I would say just making sure you are hitting all your macronutrients. So making sure you are getting proteins and fats. Of course, you'll most likely are getting carbohydrates on a vegan diet, because plant-based foods are mostly carbohydrates. So just making sure you are getting proteins and fats. You may need to supplement with something like a B12 supplement because you don't get that from animal-based products. So getting your B12 checked and then supplementing it with that. What else? Oh, and then I usually say like trying to do a whole foods diet rather than like the junk food vegan diets where you're just getting a lot of those processed foods, like the processed burgers or the processed snacks. Of course, it's okay to have that kind of stuff here and there, but I would say try to get your majority of your diet still from whole foods, like good food sources. Okay. What else? I caught this live just in time. I just ate Taco Bell. Everybody seems to get diarrhea from Taco Bell. And then like on one of my other videos, so many people got green poop from eating Takis. I've never tried Takis, but a lot of people get green and blue poop from that. There's a question about a specific syndrome. I'm honestly not familiar with that syndrome, so I can always look that up, and then if you want to jump on a live next time, I can look into it, but it's something that I've actually never treated and I'm not familiar with it. Okay, so if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. Thanks guys for all the likes. And if you are new here, be sure to subscribe and join our health community. I am Dr. Amanda. I go live every night and I answer your health questions. So I'm gonna hang around for a few more minutes and answer any health questions that we have. And thank you so much for all the likes and subscribing. I do appreciate it. Why I don't feel hungry, please answer. That can be so many reasons why. One could be nervous system. So stress, anxiety, depression, those all impact your mood, so and your appetite. So I would say that could be one. Another thing could be like high stress, like high cortisol. If you're pretty stressed out, like your nervous system is ramped up, and if you're in that what we call fight or flight response, your body's not thinking about eating. You need to kind of calm down and like get your body to go in that rest and digest nervous system. So that could be something. Another thing that comes to mind could be medication. If you're on a medication that's impacting your appetite, even things like marijuana, that kind of stuff can impact your appetite. Everybody is different, right? So I would say looking at that, I'm just scrolling back up to the question. What else could be? Maybe something gastro, yeah, maybe something going on in your stomach or your digestive system that's just impacting your appetite and you don't feel like eating for whatever reason. Maybe you are a bit nauseous, maybe you have some bloating that can impact it as well. So those I would say would be the top things of why you might not be hungry, and I'm looking into those. All right. Why does it burn when I pee? So usually when we're thinking burning on urination, it could be a urinary tract infection or a bladder infection. So if you are having burning, that's something you want to go definitely get checked out, because it could just be some bacteria in the urinary tract, could be some inflammation. You always want to, if you're feeling any sort of urinary symptoms, get them checked out, because you don't want it to then lead to a kidney infection, because bladder infections can travel up to your kidneys, and then that's really bad if you have a kidney infection. So I would say go get that one checked out. Just some thanks for the lives. You guys are so welcome. I'm happy that I'm here to help you out. Okay, I'm just gonna answer a couple more questions and then sign off for tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow. Natural supplements for anxiety and stress. Great question. I'll just quickly talk about a couple of things, but I did do a live not too long ago, maybe a few days ago, about anxiety and stress. So in terms of anxiety, one of my top ones I always recommend that I like is lavender. Of course, just to say, like, this is not, medical advice. I don't know your medical history. I don't know your medications that you're on or anything about you. So always double check with your healthcare provider. But yeah, lavender is great because it can just help with calm the body down. It's you can get it in a soft gel, you can drink it as a tea. Really good for just like calming the nervous system. And then if we're talking about stress, a really good one is L-theanine, also good for anxiety. L-theanine, it's an amino acid. You could get this from drinking green tea, but if you want it more stronger, you could take it in a capsule form, and it doesn't have caffeine in it. Really good for mental clarity, calming the body down, and then helping with reducing high levels of stress and anxiety. So that's what I would say. All right. What else? Increased dopamine in the brain. You could look at things like GABA. You could look at things like magnesium. Those can also be beneficial. Exercise and a healthy diet absolutely can help out with that. What's the most nutrient and vitamin packed fruits for men's health? Good question. You know, I've talked about berries all the time, and I'm just gonna say berries because they are super high in antioxidants. So things like pomegranates are great for blood flow and cardiovascular health. And then we got blueberries and strawberries. Those have tons of antioxidants in them, so really good for protecting the body against free radicals. And then they got a lot of vitamins in them. So that's what I would say. Okay, all right, guys. Thank you so much for the questions. I am going to be signing off for tonight, so I'll be back tomorrow. I usually try to go on live around 5, 6 Pacific Standard Time, around that time. So if anybody is new here and you're still watching, just be sure to like and subscribe. That way you get notified when I do go on live. And then if I didn't answer your question tonight, hop on tomorrow or the next night and ask me your question. And then, yeah, I will answer it for you. So thanks, guys. Thanks so much for the likes and the subscribes and for joining our community. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.